Marshall joins us now of Kansas. Senator, would you back that up from your sources and your relationship with the president? Are they feeling pretty good about where this is at right now?
Oh, Brian, we're ecstatic, absolutely ecstatic. And every time I see the president, I'll tell him we're not tired of winning. But, who's excited about these trade deals are my Kansas farmers and the aerospace industry. What Kansas exports are agriculture products and airplanes and jets. So just ecstatic about these deals. The president removing these non-trade barriers, all these countries, in addition to giving us basically a zero types of penalties going into their country's tariffs, but they're also opening their markets and they're moving investment into America. Just this past week, I had several of the large pharma companies who make their drugs overseas very popular, very successful. They're moving that manufacturing here, so we're all excited about them.
So the $300 billion, you're on the budget committee. So the $300 billion they expect to make at the end of the year, according to the Treasury Secretary, well, how does that money factor into the budget? Like, can you actually take the $300 billion off the deficit?
I don't think we can. I think that we could, we're going to go through this appropriation process right now, which, by the way, Chuck Schumer is trying to sabotage. We can just make those buckets smaller in amounts so we spend less. And we need to work towards a balanced budget. That would be the first step. If there's a way we could just use that to pay down the debt, I think that we would have to do a specific law to do that.
But does it figure in the budget when it comes to revenue as opposed to expenses?
I think in my mind,
is our country earning this money? Does that go to the Treasury, in other words?
Yeah, so it will go to the U.S. Treasury, and then Congress will decide where it's going to be spent. But when you're spending $2 trillion more than you're taking in, this is a drop in the bucket, and we need to work towards a balanced budget, and that'll help us get there. That's going to go on the income ledger, along with tax revenue.
So the interest rate with the Fed's going to meet today, and they're going to meet again in September with the growth with the GDP at 3% and inflation under 3%. Don't you feel as though a rate cut? Not that you want. Do you think a rate cut could be coming?
I sure hope so. Jerome Too Late Powell, he is too late, kind of like Ed Too Tall Jones. This is Jerome Too Late Powell. He should have cut it a quarter point some time ago, a quarter point now, half point in the future. He's a lame duck, and I don't know what he's going to do. If he doesn't drop something today, I just have to think it's politically or emotionally motivated.
So when you look at the other area of your responsibility, and that's HHS, Health and Human Services, when you have the FDA, we know that dyes are rapidly coming out of our foods. We know that they're cracking down on some of the convenience stores and some of the crazy stuff they've been selling. Are you enthused about the MAHA movement 6 months in?
Yeah, we're making great progress, making incredible progress. We have a group of bills that'll help support that movement as well, a group of bills that's going to make our soil healthier, help our farmers grow more with less pesticides, with less fertilizers, trying to get more access to primary. So, yes, I am. My thing I'm worried about right now, which is coming to my attention, Brian, is China continues to make a lot of knockoffs. So, for instance, China's making a knockoff of a GLP-1 that they're sending to the U.S. that's compounded into a pharmacy. 14 people have died from that. So one of my big emphasis here is moving all that supply chain back to the United States. It's easier said than done.
When you talk about these China deals, I want you to hear what Scott Besson said about so far how it's going 2 days in. Cut 2.
We had a very fulsome 2 days with the Chinese delegation led by Vice Premier Ho Feng. It was our third meeting. I'm happy to say that London built on Geneva, Stockholm built on London and Geneva. I think we had great momentum going into the meeting.
So he went on to say that he thinks the deals that were cut prior to the China meeting are setting the table here. They're dead serious. What could you tell us about this meeting and what has to be in it? Number one, they're still not addressing fentanyl and the dual-use equipment they're sending to Russia.
Yeah. So A lot to unpack there. So big picture is that with China, we have a $270 billion trade deficit to address. I think that people miss the calculated way that the Trump administration is doing this. Basically, they boxed in China. Think about it. They've done the EU. They've done Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Japan, Australia. So by having bilateral trade agreements with them, it's putting a lot of pressure on China. One other thing China does to cheat is they'll send a bunch of T-shirts that they made or tennis shoes, and they'll send them to Vietnam, and then Vietnam is getting them in at their lower tariff rate. So the president is doubling up on that type of transaction to make sure that those are tariffed appropriately. So we absolutely are getting there. To your point, I'm much more concerned about fentanyl poisoning. There's intellectual property theft, the counterfeits they make, all those things. But I have faith in Scott Bessent. This guy is one of the sharpest people I've ever met. I wish I could give him money to invest for me, but we can't do that. But he really is. He is driving that show. USTR Jameson Greer, I think, is another brilliant person trained under Bob Lighthizer. So I think that they will get the best deal we can. And just like this deal with the EU is an incredible deal. I expect a good deal out of them. I think the challenge is making it long-term, Brian. What can Congress do to make these long-term deals? Because if Trump isn't president, will the next president have the kahunas to slap these tariffs on? Because China will cheat in the future.
But the fact that the president's going to be here for 3.5 years instead of people doubting that he would even get reelected, I think China knows the deal they cut, he's going to reinforce or it's all going to fall apart. From what you know, are they in a situation that they have to make a deal, that their current status quo is not good for them?
Yeah, Brian, I think the bigger picture, their economy is in horrible shape, absolutely horrible shape. The currency manipulation, I think, comes back and bites them right now. There are a number of people that are being born versus the number of people that need to retire there. That's like 5 times worse than the situation that we are in right now. And maybe most importantly is, what does China make that we can't live without? Well, you're going to say magnets and some of these rare earth minerals that we need to address, but they cannot feed their country. So I think that we have a lot of aces right now. They got some queens and jacks. So I think that we are in a position of power, and we should take nothing less than a great deal for America.
What are you doing before you guys leave? I mean, you're trying to get over 100 confirmations done. People like Michael Waltz already got through the committee. The ambassador to the United Nations, are guys that he's well known. What is being done besides one at a time? You need dozens passed.
Right, exactly. And I think this is the big political picture here, and you get this. But what's driving the Democrat Party right now is their far left. Chuck Schumer is scared to death of AOC and that far left. So they're demanding he's got to do something. He's got to do something. So he's doing everything in his power to gum up the process, whether it's nominations or appropriations bills as well. He's in a panicked mode right now, and he's lashing out, slowing up what is traditionally done. People that would pass with unanimous consent and take zero floor time, we're having to vote on them 3 times and spend 2 hours or more on each one of them. So if they're going to keep doing that, then we just need to stay here in August till we get more of these people confirmed.
I don't think he's going to. I think Senator Thune was saying to us last week that he thinks you guys are more effective going home explaining the big, beautiful bill, which is now law. So I'm not sure how long he plans on keeping you guys there. And I'm sure you guys have earned a break where you go home. A lot of people are going to be traveling and going. So I don't know how you guys are going to do this. What do they want? What do they want? Like when they say, if you want this, Democrats.
So the Democrats secretly want to all go home, right? That is their number one priority. These people are professional politicians. They're used to having all summer off. And by the way, when I go back, I'm going to work harder back in Kansas than I do here. So, and then at the same time, though, that their leader is scared to death. I can't believe he's still their leader, that he hasn't been fired yet. But he's scared to death to be in primary, his legacy. So it's all about his political legacy right now, keeping that together. But I just have to emphasize, Brian, yes, I want to go home, but I've done 4 telephone town halls up here with people back in Kansas in the last 2 weeks, over 5,000 people on each one of those calls. You can go home on weekends. We've had significant, strong events as well. We could stay for easily 2 weeks and still go back and accomplish that mission of targeting the great things about the big, beautiful bill, whether it's the biggest tax cut in American history or no tax on tips, all those types of things. So I think we can walk and chew gum, but what we could do most to help the the people of America is get President Trump's nominations confirmed so they can execute his agenda, if that makes sense.
You know, sometimes Democrats, and you guys did it too when you were the minority, said, do this and I'll give you judges. Do this and I'll give you your ambassadors. Have they come up to leadership and said, Democrats, we're proposing this, or no?
Yeah, I think those are conversations are happening at the highest of levels, and though I'm not privy to them, but I think that they have to know that we are very willing to stay here. And by the way, we have a president that however strong and powerful you think he is, it's even more so back home with our base. If we go back in August and the president is saying they need to be up here, the first question I get in every small town is, why the hell are you not in Washington, D.C. doing your job? The president wants you there. So they need to think about that as well.
So, Senator, I want to bring you to Cory Booker fighting with his own party over this police funding bill, Cut 42.
Why would we do something today that's playing into the president's politics and is going to hurt the officers in states like mine?
This is an attempt to kill all of these bills. I don't know why, because at the end of the day, all of these bills are about bipartisan support.
This, to me, is the problem with Democrats in America right now, is we're willing to be complicit to Donald Trump.
All of these bills came out of the committee unanimously, and I think they deserve that support on the floor.
This is a call, folks. The Democratic Party needs a wake-up call.
It's just insane. They're arguing with themselves. Actually, Klobuchar said this is bipartisan. You weren't. But it turns out he wasn't even showing up at the committee meetings. And Senator Masto, Democrat from Nevada. Can you shed some light on this for our listeners?
Yeah, I think, first of all, the one thing I did learn politically up here is when your opponent is forming a circular firing squad, don't hop in the middle of them. So I think we need to give them all the rope we can on this. This kind of takes us back to what I was talking about earlier. The far left of the Democrat Party is the tail wagging the dog. Here's Cory Booker running for president, right? He's trying to reach that primary base, saying he's the most radical progressive person up here. That's what he's doing right there. And again, this is a party that won't stop digging. They're in this hole. They have no respect for law and order. He just keeps digging and digging. These bills that she's proposing, bipartisan, stronger law and order, support the police. He's out there still shouting like this mayor candidate from New York that we want to defund the police. So I think this is all political. They're more interested in running for president, Cory Booker is, than and here you have Amy Klobuchar, who's one of the most moderate Democrats, level-headed people up here, and to be honest, has just been a joy to get to know and get to work with. We were in bipartisan prayer breakfast together. It's something you'll never see, but she gave just an incredible lesson to us today about life in our bipartisan prayer breakfast.
All right.
So I hope that shed some light.
He was a doctor in his former life, and now he's a senator in this life. Senator Roger Marshall, thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian. Have a great day, and let's keep making America great again. Thank you.
You got it. Back in a moment with more to